What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network. We're your host, Al, myself, Anthony. Today is Friday, November 7th, and Magic got a big game tonight against the Boston Celtics in their first in-season tournament game. Al, what's going on, man? How are we feeling?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Wishing we had won at least one more game in that road trip, but here we are. The struggles continue.
Yes, Magic finishing their 5-game road trip, ending that with a 2-3 record, putting us and leaving us at the 11th seed in the East with a 3-5 record. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about the 2 games that we've played since we last recorded, and then just kind of talk about what we think, the kind of blame, who we blame this lackluster style of basketball that we've been playing lately, and do we think that this is something that can be turned around, and is it something that's permanent we should be more worried about? But before we get into that, real quick, a reminder: if you're listening, if you're watching, don't forget to follow us on social media. Follow us at Magic HQ on X and at Orlando Magic HQ on Instagram. And don't forget to check out our website on www.orlandomagichq.com for all of our content. We're uploading all types of news, Magic reports, rumors, stats, anything that's Magic related. You can check out all our contact and also be a part of our Patreon. We got an awesome community that's continuing to grow there, and we love to chat it up and talk hoops, man. So simple as that. And then right before we get into the episode, just a quick word from our sponsors. Our new sponsor, Underdog. Where they want us to remind you that it is that time of the year again, and the NFL is rolling. NBA is back, and our friends over at Underdog have you covered for all the action. If you're new to Underdog, now is the perfect time to check it out. If you use code MAGICHQ, you'll get $100 in bonus entry when you play your first $5 entry, win or lose. We recently partnered with Underdog, and trust me, this is probably the best offer that they've ever dropped. You don't want to miss it. Here's how it works. Just pick either your higher or lower on 2 or more of the player stats or projections, and you're in game with a shot to win up to 5,000 times your money. You can even max across sports. Build the NBA and NFL combo and make your weekend entries a little more fun. Play now in most states, including Florida, California, and Texas. So just remember, when you sign up, use code MAGICHQ to grab that $100 in bonus entry. Play responsibly, have fun, and let's make some winning entries together. On that note, Al, when we're talking about this week in review, Magic, they get a couple wins under the belt, right? They play against Charlotte. We win 125-94. And then we kind of follow that up with a loss against a Trae Youngless Atlanta Hawks, our first nationally televised game for the season. We lose to Atlanta Hawks 127-112. And as I mentioned earlier, we finished this 5-game road trip, 2-3 record. When you think about these games, what is it that really stands out to you the most? Like, what's your biggest takeaway?
I mean, it's got to be the fact that, yes, we won 2 in a row, but like, who were those wins against, right? Those wins were against Charlotte. They were against the Washington Wizards, 2 of the NBA's worst teams. So while I'm excited that we won 2 games and it was back-to-back wins, it is a little concerning that on that road trip, you think about Philly, Detroit, Atlanta without Trae Young, Philly without Embiid, Paul George, McCain. We haven't looked good against decent opponents. Take it back to our home stretch. We didn't look good against the Chicago Bulls. We didn't look good against the Hawks once again. And even against the Miami Heat, even though we beat them on the season opener, we barely got that win in the fourth quarter. So it's a little scary, the fact that defensively at this time, we just seem to not be able to stop anyone. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but like while I'm watching the games, it just feels like the opponents are just driving to the hoop, getting layups on top of whoever's down there, Wendell, Paolo, Goga, whoever it is. 3-point shots. We're contesting them, it feels like. Watching the game, it feels like we're contesting the shots well. some way, somehow, they're making the shots and tough shots, contested, wide open, they're making them. Now, offensively, we know we heard about the faster pace. We're seeing that. There's been some good results. We kind of like it sometimes we don't. But there's some concerns. Turnover numbers are ridiculous. We're still turning it over 18 times, 16 times a game. That is just simply way too much. Free throw shooting. One game we shoot 100%. The next game we're shooting 60, 50% from the free throw line. So no consistency there. And then I'll go back to this again. We talked about it last week. Coach Mosley's rotations still don't make too much sense to me. We're not seeing enough Paolo and Franz together playing. And that to me is a little concerning. We need those guys playing together. That's when we are at our best. Um, so it's just been kind of all over the place right now. It feels like, yeah, we hear like, oh, they're figuring it out. They'll be fine. It's 8 games into the season right now. Way too early to get too concerned. But what we're seeing is a concerning part. Like there's no consistency on both ends of the floor right now. And defensively, that's our identity. That's who we are as a team. Defensively, we're one of the best in the NBA. And right now, we're not looking that way against good opponents. So I'm all over the place, man. I don't have one area that I'm like, I feel good about this with this team, except Tristan da Silva. That's the only guy that I'm like, man, he is balling out. But outside of that, everything else just kind of feels like, mm, I don't know how to feel. Uh, what about you? What are your takeaways through 8 games? And specifically, again, that loss against the Hawks, national TV game, NBC, highly anticipated. And yet we laid another egg on a big stage game.
Yeah, I think that when the national media is in the once they start agreeing with the Magic fan base, you know that there's that common denominator. We all feel the exact same way, right? Where we're all starting to feel, and it's obviously the biggest highlight, is this whole pushing the pace and playing at a faster rate. It's just not working for us now. And you're at a point where you either try to fight through it and try to figure it out, or you got to revert back and start from scratch. But how do you do that so early into the season where you already have a good amount of games under your belt? I think the most unfortunate part is that the goal, right, is the season was to get home court advantage in the first round so we can make it into the second round. We had higher expectations where we're expecting a deeper run. And now we kind of have to peel that back a little bit, and we can't even think that far ahead. We got to think about today, and try to figure out what the issue is and make those adjustments now. Do I think that Coach Moses is going to cancel everything right now and they're going to stop, pushing the pace and playing fast? I can't see them doing that. Means they're admitting to a mistake, and I just don't think that they're at a point that they're willing to do that just yet. They got to figure it out, and there's going to be trials and errors, and you hope that it's going to pay off in the end. But it just doesn't look good. Like the game does not look good. Even when Paulo Banchero statistically is playing good, it still looks bad. It still looks like not the Paulo Banchero that we're used to. Uh, the bright spots is, as you said, Tristan da Silva, Anthony Black. I've seen a lot of great things from him. Franz Wagner, his shooting definitely has gotten a lot better. But overall, yeah, you can point at a lot of the decision making that Coach Moses has done. You can question it, the rotations, you can question it. And I think that especially after that Atlanta Hawks game, and I had mentioned it to our Patreon and on Discord that the team just looks like they weren't prepared. And that falls on the feet of Coach Mose. And the fact that Coach Mose then afterwards, during his post game conference, he even admitted to where that, he takes blame for not having his team more prepared. So there has to be an adjustment. And that doesn't just rely, that just doesn't fall on Coach Mose. It's the whole coaching staff. Like the Magic spent a lot of money this year adding an elite offensive assistant coach to be right next to Coach Mose. Like there was, you got one job, bro. That's the reason why we brought you on. And it's just not clicking. So you either got to fight through the wall and get through it and figure it out, or we need to start peeling it back a little bit because watching these teams drop close to 130 almost every single night it's starting to become a very, very bad trend. And we're seeing that happen way too often, way too early.
Yeah, man. And we hear a lot of like, oh, offensively, we're doing okay. That the offense looks much improved. We just got to clean it up on defense. And yet, I'm looking at the stats right now. So I'm looking at NBA.com advanced stats. Offensive rating for the Magic at this moment, 23rd in the league. So that's not great. That's not solid. That's not amazing. That's towards the bottom of the league. The biggest issue is defensive rating for the Orlando Magic. We were second in the NBA last year, right? We're one of the top teams in the NBA. As of this moment, we are 14th in the league. That's not good. So we have a poor offense, a middle of the pack defense. That's not good. And yet we're one of the highest teams when it comes to turnovers, when it comes to fouling, and one of the teams that is shooting it once again in the bottom 10 in the league from 3-point range. So it feels like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for this team right now. And again, you just don't know how to explain it because I'm like, how do we go from no being such a great defensive team to now all of a sudden forgetting how to play defense? You can throw in there the idea like, hey, Desmond Bain is getting used to the rotations. He even talked about it today after practice and said, hey, there's still times where I'm getting lost defensively, not in the right rotation. So, okay, that could be it. But is he really contributing 30 extra points to the opponents? Like, that's not the case. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not true. You might say Gary Harris is no longer with the team. Neither is KCP. Those were guys that played good defense. I'm sorry. Gary Harris dressed up whenever he wanted. And even when he did, I'm sorry, like he didn't make that much of an impact. He wasn't playing enough. KCP, sure, he's a good defender. But again, I don't know. I don't think he was that great of a defender when we didn't have Jalen Suggs out there often enough. So I just feel like we're all over the place with this team right now. I really don't have the answers. I'm at a point where I tweeted this a couple of days ago after cooling off and letting it sink in the fact that we lost yet again. And I said, I'm going to give this team 25 games. That should be sometime near, I don't know, end of November, early December to see where we really are at that point. I think it's still too early. Desmond Bain has struggled big time in the last few games, especially. He's looked really, really bad. I don't think that's going to continue. So I want to see once Desmond figures it out, once we continue to kind of get our rotations in place, our defense picks it up once again. Who are we at that point? I think it's too early to say, hey, let's fire Coach Mosley. I think it's too early to say, hey, we should trade this player. It's not going to happen either way. Teams don't function that way. And don't forget, guys, we had a crazy offseason. I think we threw all of the chips on the table and said, this is our team for at least this upcoming season. We might make a trade at the trade deadline. I don't even know if we do that, but the change's got to come from within. I don't think we're going to see many changes, external changes like trades, free agents, or a coaching change just yet. We just got to figure it out. The problem is, and I asked this question when we were preparing the agenda today, who do we blame for this? Like, in your opinion, like if we just kind of let it all go, it's all right. Who do we blame for this? Is it the coaching staff? Is it Coach Mosley in particular? Or is it the player? And I have my answer on this, but what are your thoughts on that particular topic? Who do we blame for this horrible start?
I blame everybody. Everybody deserves the blame. Uh, we haven't gotten the Paulo Banchero that we're used to getting. There's so much slander outside of Orlando towards Paulo Banchero, between calling him what was the guy's name? Jason Smith, Jalen Smith,
Josh
what
Smith?
was it? Josh Smith. Jesus. Between the comparisons to Josh Smith or questioning whether or not he really has it. Um, it's that can't be the case. If Paulo is not your elite player, your franchise star, this team does not get far, because you've betted everything on Paulo Banchero, right? He's the one with the big payday, followed by Franz, followed by Desmond, followed by Jalen Suggs. Every single person gets the blame, because it takes just as much effort as it does for uh, Coach Moles. He's managing it, right? He's the one coming out with the schemes, the plans, the decisions. He's got the power. At the same time, the players got to go out there and do their thing too. Like Tyus Jones has been disastrous. Desmond Bain has been disastrous. not just offensively, but defensively. Like the weakness defensively is huge. Like I'm not used to seeing our players get dogged the way that they're getting dogged. And honestly, like the incident that happened with Desmond Bain where he got ejected, it's twofolds, right? It's one where, man, you got to be you got to be smarter than that. Like you can't. If we rely on you, no matter how bad he's playing, he's still a threat. He still can play make, right? You need him in the game, and for him to get ejected the way, and for him to come out and say, I wasn't expecting that I was going to get ejected. I thought it was just going to be a foul. Yeah, yeah, BS. Because you deserve to get ejected. I would debate that way anyway. You deserve to get ejected because he threw the guy down. He smacked the ball at him, and then afterwards he was taunting another player. Like you were just asking for it. The NBA is way too sensitive now for you to expect anything different. So the two folds is you gotta be smarter than that. The other side of the coin is I'm glad that I see some frustrations. Like I'm glad to see a little bit of edge because I feel like our team needs that. Like get frustrated, get upset, get annoyed that you're playing like crap because we are. Everyone should be annoyed. Everyone should be frustrated, and everyone needs to do their part to make changes. It can't just we can't expect for our shooting to change off a small sample size of shooting from Tyus Jones and obviously Desmond Bain, but at the end of the day, that's just two players. Like, yeah, you can ask Desmond Bain to go out there and shoot 8, 9 3-pointers a game, but his shot isn't there. Like, we need to be able to see that internal growth from Paulo, from Franz, from everyone else. Jonathan Isaac, I don't understand. I don't understand why we continue to why his offense is only strictly shooting those corner threes. Like I don't understand why that's his main go-to. Like this dude must be going off in practice, knocking down every corner three, every single one for him to have the green light that he has in game corner threes because it's not just he's airballing these things. Like it's that bad. The defense is not at a point where it's justifying how bad the offense is. And I almost fell out of my chair when I saw him pump fake the corner three. Atlanta fell for it, and you drove it right to the basket for a dunk. I don't know who falls for that. Nobody was paying attention to the Jonathan Isaac scouting report because you would want, if you're the defense, you want Jonathan Isaac shoot the corner three. I would let him shoot the corner three because it's such a low percentage shot. So
Mhm.
to me, everyone gets to blame. Coach gets to blame. Uh, Players get to blame. Weltman right now gets blame. Everybody can get the blame. Every single person. Anyone that is wearing an Orlando Magic whatever on their chest, I get the blame. Everyone's getting the blame. Anyone that's related to the Orlando Magic in any capacity, we all get the blame because we look terrible.
Yeah, man. Again, it's hard to explain. It's hard to find the words to explain the expectations that we had heading into this season to what we're seeing so far through 8 games. Now, again, this can all change, right? The Magic go on a 5, 6 game winning streak and kind of figure it out all of a sudden. Hey, here we go again. Like when we won those 2 games against Charlotte and Washington, we're feeling like, all right, here we go. This is what we're supposed to look like. So we're right there. But to answer the question, it's tough, right? Because you look at the players, you can't blame Coach Mosley for this team shooting, missing 13 free throws in one game that you lose by 8 points. That's not the coach's fault. He can't make the free throws for you. You can't blame him when you're fouling at a rate of like 23 fouls per game, whatever the number might be. That's just way too many fouls. Like that you're giving points away. You can't fault Coach Mosley for when they're missing wide open threes. And you look at guys like Tyus Jones, Desmond Bain, they're not missing step back contested 3-point shots. They're missing some pretty good looks that you when they shoot it, you're like, man, it's going in because they're so open. And yet they're breaking it. So there's a lot of blame that can be passed to the coaching staff. And again, I'll be the first one to admit, like when Coach Mosley said, I didn't have these guys prepared, against Atlanta on a national TV game after 2 days off on the road. What do you mean? Like, so what are you doing for the past two games? What are you doing in a national TV game that everyone's going to be watching? A team that started playing so poorly that they're not ready. Like, then what? Like, whose job is that then to get them ready? That's your job. So it's tough, man. But the players definitely deserve some of the blame. Again, I feel like the Paulo Franz combination. Um, we expected a lot more than what we've gotten from them so far. For whatever reason, we haven't gotten enough from them just yet. Um, you think about, to your point, Jonathan Isaac. Where's the development? Where's the improvement when it comes to the offensive end? We know your weaknesses: 3-point shooting and offense. No improvement after a whole summer that we saw you at the gym. Like, what's happening there? Um, so I think the fair thing would be everyone gets to blame. I will excuse, however, the front office. I do think that Weltman, Anthony Parker, they did their best, man. They got us one of the best shooters in the NBA. They got a guy that we've been begging for. Most of the fan base have been asking for Tyus Jones for years. They did that. They drafted fairly well. They made the big moves, man. Like, you can't blame them. I personally think this is not on them. However, coaching staff and players, they got to figure it out, man. I think that's what the issue lies right now. It's way too early to fire Coach Mosley. Let's not even go there. But it's also way too early to say the Desmond Bain trade was a mistake and the Tyus Jones acquisition was a mistake. It's way too early for that. But we got to figure it out here pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was like, yeah, I've already seen because one of the social media pages in the national media, they posted the stats for Desmond Bain, like the last 3 games, and obviously is under 7-8 points, and it just looks bad. Like his stats are not, nobody, you're not shying away from that, right? I don't think anyone can blame the front office for that. Even at the end of this thing, it was just a bad move. I don't blame, I wouldn't blame the front office for going after and making that move. Magic sucked at shooting. You try to bring in an elite shooter, someone who wasn't available, and you convinced the team to give them up. And everybody, I don't care who you were, everybody on paper were on board with this move. Everybody. Yeah, you can debate that it was a lot of picks, but you also unloaded KCP in his terrible contract, and he played terrible too. But at some point, you do have to question, like, damn, we brought KCP in. He was supposed to be an elite shooter. He comes in here, he couldn't shoot good. Desmond Bain, he's an elite shooter. He comes in here and he doesn't shoot good. Tyus Jones, he's an elite shooter. He comes here and he's not shooting good. At some point, the system needs to be pointed at as something that just doesn't work for these guys. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like how much more, like if it doesn't start turning around, then I'm pressing the panic button. Like it needs to start turning around sooner rather than later. Because in order for us to have a successful season, everything has to go right. Everyone needs to take a step forward. Everything needs to go right. Our shooting needs to be better. Defense just needed to stay the same. And we needed to be lucky with health. And knock on wood, luckily we have that. But if I can be honest, even in our faults where we weren't doing well, we can always rely on the fact of we don't have Jalen Suggs. We don't have Mo Wagner.
Yep.
We're running out of that excuse because Jalen Suggs is slowly but surely going to start getting his minutes no longer reduced, and then you only just have one person on the injury block from the injury reserve. So now who do you point the finger on? Like
Mhm.
everyone deserves the blame. Al, you deserve the blame. I blame you, Al. And when you go to the games, did you wear mismatching socks? Did you take your rabbit's foot? You get the blame too. You didn't bring
Listen,
enough luck with you to the game.
it's gotta, again, I think as Magic fans, we're all going through it right now. I haven't met a single Magic fan right now that is not waking up, the game after a loss and not like, not wanting to be at work the next day and kind of feeling down on themselves. It's rough right now, man, because again, the expectations were so high for this team. Like, and not only that, man, but when you look at the schedule, who we faced and who they've had available, like we faced some teams with a lot of injuries. The Hawks without Trey Young, against Philly without Embiid, Paul George. the Bulls without Kobe White, you would assume, like if I were to look back at the schedule, I would assume the Magic would be right now. If I were to just, God forbid, been in a coma and just woken up and looked at the schedule without seeing the results, I would have just assumed that the Magic would have been like, I don't know, 7-1, 6-2. That would have been my assumption based on who we've played, based on our team being healthy and the expectations that we had. And to now see this team at 3-5, and man, that game against the Hawks hurt me so much because we could have been 500 right now, coming to play at home against Boston twice, against Portland. Somewhat of an easy schedule. Again, Boston, it's not the Boston that we're used to seeing. And yeah, here we are. So it's just rough right now, man. I think the team again as a whole deserves to blame. I don't like the excuses though that I'm hearing from Coach mostly. Again, I didn't have this guys prepared. It's early. Like today, he got into this debate with Jason, who asked the question about like, well, who are you? Why is the team not? Well, we're not seeing the finished product yet because the defensive end. I forgot the exact quote. And his response was, "Well, you write articles, right? Like when you write an article, how many drafts do you do? 6, 7? Well, this is a draft that you're seeing right now." And I'm like, "No, man, this is the regular season. Every game matters. Like you had a whole preseason, a whole training camp. And by the way, the team looked fairly well in preseason. Something shifted after that. So like what's going on here?" Again, I feel like those are all excuses. And I think it's at this point, we got to hold the guys accountable, man. Again, the free throw shooting, the fouling, the lack of ball movement, whatever you want to blame it on, call them out. Like they need to be called out at this point. I'll give him one pass, and that is again, you are adapting Desmond Bain. Yes, that's true. Tyus Jones, true. One layer that we forget, they are adapting also back Jalen Suggs into the rotation, who didn't play, the last 3 months of the season. So, and he's not really playing. He's kind of just going out there for 3 minutes, sitting down, 5 minutes, sitting down. So that's even hard to do. So there's a lot of things that you can blame, but ultimately, man, accountability is the thing now. We need these guys to figure it out. No excuses. I'm gonna end up with this. I'm gonna give this team again 25 games to figure it out. That's my number. What is your number? As you look at the schedule, look at it like in your head and thinking, not until this game am I gonna freak out. What is a number for you?
Yeah, I think 25 is a lot of games, man, because if you're at 25, like your window starts to shrink way more. I think 15
Mhm.
would be my number, right? So we're 5, we're at game 8, today will be game 9. They got to figure out quickly.
Quick.
So you feel like hopefully with a little bit of a homestead, like maybe you start getting some more wins under your belt, get the system a little more fluid, and maybe start stringing some wins together. With a record of 3-5, that we're not at panic mode just yet. But it can easily turn ugly fast if we can't protect home court. Because then that's where really the ball's going to start rolling deeper, and it's just going to be harder, man. We haven't been able to see this team yet play with joy. And I think that that's a missing element because, man, I'm used to this team hyping each other up, the bench going
Mhm.
crazy after the game. Everyone's reposting each other's highlights. We just haven't seen that level of chemistry this year. And I don't know who's supposed to lead that. Like Cole Anthony, is he the main driver for the joy off the bench? Like, where's the missing piece, the missing glue, the missing connection? Because it just doesn't look good. And who knows, the chemistry, in the locker room may be completely different than what we're talking about. Maybe everyone's still in high spirits and they all believe that they're going to be able to figure it out. It just doesn't look that way.
Mhm.
And you got people already in the national media already saying, like, can the Magic please stop with this fast-paced nonsense and go back to just being a top 3 defense, and you just slowly incorporating Desmond Bain and Tyus Jones to what you're already doing, right? So yeah, I would say 15 games. They have to figure it out quick before it gets ugly. I think 25 would be like still like way too much, too big of a piece already from the puzzle. You only have 82 games.
So let me ask you, if we get to game 25 and the Magic are, let's call it, I don't know, let's say 13-12. So just one game over 500. at that point? It's not like panic mode. This is not good enough. Fire mostly to you, 500 basketball. Or would that be to you like, hey, we're figuring it out. It's early still. We have another 50 whatever games left. We're fine. What would that be for you if we are 13 and 12 at game 25?
I don't know, man. I the Jeff Wellman has never been a messy type of PBO. Like
Hmm.
he just hasn't been. So if it doesn't go our way, are they going to fire Coach Mosley halfway through the season? I can't see that happening. I think that they have way too much respect for him.
Hmm.
And I think that no matter the feedback that we hear from the players or what we think they are saying in between the lines, I think the players also respect Coach Moles as well. And I think that if you were to make any changes midway, I think that that would just hurt the team so much. So I wouldn't expect any changes. But at the same time, man, Magic paying money right now. Payroll is high. Like
Yep.
and we're at a point where we're not. This ain't the rebuild. Like this is the every game matters now, and we need to be profitable. We're spending crazy money. And with that comes accountability. It comes pressure for everybody involved. You know, people are already starting to question whether or not can Paulo and Franz really fit together. I've seen people outside. I've seen other social media posts outside of the Orlando world, but people are already talking about, man, maybe they should trade Paulo and keep Franz. That's not an agenda that I want to spit. I fully believe that Paulo and Franz can easily fit together and they will do damage. But they got to find a scheme that works for them. And again, if this fast pace is not a scheme that works, we got to dial it back. And I've said this in other episodes where can we get back to being a top three defense and then can we slowly move up the pace just a little bit instead of going full steam? And maybe that's an adjustment that they can make, now during the season where they just dial it back a little bit.
So I think that's the biggest question too. A lot of fans are saying, can we just go back to what the offense was last year? Can we kind of scrap this fast-paced offense? It's clearly not working at this moment, and mostly address it today. Again, he said it's not going away. Like the guys are going to figure it out. That they're getting used to it. Um, it's tough, man, because again, yes, it's a more fun brand of basketball. It is more enjoyable to watch when shots are going in. It's fun to watch that fast-paced offense. The problem is when you're not making free throws, you're not making shots, and you're fouling on the other side, left and right. What are we doing here? It's not fun. We're not winning with it. So it's a tough decision to make right now for Coach Mosley because we all loved it when we heard it in the offseason. Oh, we're going to pick up the pace and play faster. We were excited about it. But seeing what we're seeing right now is like, well, I think we prefer last year instead. So it's tough. So your call would be if it was up to you, if you were Coach Mosley, you would dial it down now at this moment and say, hey, let's go back to the basics and slowly introduce this fast paced offense. Or are you in favor of continuing it until they can figure it out, which hopefully will be soon enough?
Yeah, I mean, I'll meet you halfway. I said 15, you said 25. Give it to the 20 game mark, and then you just have to pivot. These teams scoring 130 points on you just
Yeah, no.
can't happen. That's an all star game type stuff. And yeah, I'll give you another phrase that was really popular that everybody loved, and now we're kind of regretting it a little bit. Is sacrificing defense for offense. Yeah, well, we sacrifice all the defense. It's all gone. Right? And I don't want it because if you blame it on, well, we're moving too fast offensively, so there's not enough energy on the defensive side, then that is even more of a concern because
Mhm.
now it just sounds like everyone's out of shape and we have to get accustomed to playing fast. It's like, all right, if that's the case, then that's the case, and it is what it is. But it's not what you want to hear either.
Mhm.
And if that is the case, that also gives me concern of does that put our players at a more higher injury risk? So I don't know, man. You're expecting the next the next 7 out of 9 games are going to be at home. You got to be able to protect home court, and you're hoping that at home the Magic are able to figure it out. And I think that the most disappointing part for me was that Hawks game. It's the first look from a national media perspective. You just wish that your players came out there with a little more sense of pride, a little more swagger, a little more everything, because we're at a point now where we're just proving people right. And it's a crazy it's such a hard feeling and tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, man. You said earlier you got Paulo getting punked on social media by the national media. You got Jalen Suggs getting punked for the fact that he shot that three instead of celebrating before it went in. It's been a rough 8 games, man. It's
It's
only been two
it's a lot
weeks
of
since the season
memes.
started,
There's
and
way
it
too
feels
many
like it's been
memes
six
out there.
months. Yeah, it's feel like
Yeah.
we're already in February, and it's only 2 weeks into the season. So we gotta flip that. We gotta flip the script. We gotta bring some respect to the Orlando brand once again. Again, unfortunate that we played so poorly on national television because to me that was, hey, if we can win that game, we've won three in a row. We're back to 500. We won a big game in national TV. We'll get some respect again. And instead, again, we laid an egg completely. We looked awful in that game. But to your point, thinking positive. So let's look forward for a second. So we have 7 of the next 9 at home. My biggest stretch is this weekend. So you got Boston on Friday, NBA Cup game. You got to win that one. Sunday, Boston again, and then Portland on Monday. Tough 4 games and 3 games in 4 nights. Teams that play hard, but on paper, we should be able to beat this team, Boston and Portland. So we should hopefully be at least 2-1, worst case scenario, but we should definitely hopefully win the 3 of them because after that, you got the Knicks, you got Brooklyn, and we're not gonna go that far just yet. But after that, it gets ugly, man. We got, I think it's the Warriors, the Clippers, the Rockets. Like it gets ugly schedule wise after this initial part of the home stretch. So you gotta take care of business, man. Because if you don't, to your point earlier, if you lose, let's say 2 out of 3 this weekend, and then you lay an egg in New York again, and you lose that one, and then you come back home to face a crazy schedule after that, you might be looking at the Magic being down, 5 games on the 500, 6 games on the 500. Nobody would have expected that out of this team at any point this season, especially when they're healthy. So you got to take care of business this weekend. No game is a must game just yet, but when you look at the schedule, very, very important weekend for the Magic here coming up at home.
Every game matters. 7 of the next 9 at home. Coach Mosley with a message to the team where he says, "Get home, regroup, and take care of home." And kind of reiterating that that's the message. So, yeah, tonight against Boston, NBA Cup game Sunday, Boston Monday, Portland Wednesday, New York. Even with Boston being out Jason Tatum, no longer having Porzingis, like this can still be a very lethal team
Mhm.
offensively. And it's a team that's
Yep.
coached extremely well. So Magic can't take it lightly. They have to be prepared, and there's no room for being unprepared. So if Coach Mo said those words and he means them and not just playing the nice guy and you know taking the blame on himself because he doesn't want to blame or come up with any other reasons to blame the team or whatever case may be, then we need to make sure that that doesn't happen again, right? We can't use the excuse of we were not prepared. And listen, I do not have an issue with the Magic losing. I don't have a problem with them. It's 82 games. It's a lot of basketball. It's just a way that we're losing that it's a problem, right? Because it's not just 2 3 points. Like we're getting beat down, and it's embarrassing
Yeah, you don't fear them right now. I don't think any opponents coming to Orlando when we go to their town, they're fearing the Magic right now. I feel like at
at
times
all.
last year, the year before, you were gonna play the Magic and you knew tough battle. Every game was gonna be a fight. You might lose, but it'll be a 3, 5 point game at worst in the fourth quarter. Right now, man, in some of these games, we're double digits down. We're coming back from 20 down to try to come back, and we never quite can get there. Again, not what we're used to. So hopefully, again, it's just a one-off. Hopefully, it's just been the team adapting to play with each other. We hope that's the case. I do believe we'll figure it out at some point, but to your point also, the season goes by fast, man. 8 games in, we'll be at 13 here pretty quickly. And then after that, the season, you get into now, you got to look at the standings. You got to look at what we're ranking in the East. Luckily, the East should be pretty bad this year. So playing should be a given to any team that's somewhat okay. That's not us though. We are expecting this year for the first time in years, top four, top three for sure. If we're not there, that's our first failure of the season. Now we might go on a run in the playoffs, and that'll be fun to watch. But it all starts with the regular season. We want to see this team top four. We got to get home court advantage. We got to get that feeling, that mentality heading into the playoffs that we control our destiny a little bit. But again, it starts now, man. You got to stop with this fouling, turnovers, silliness. That's got to stop. So hopefully we
Gotta
see
hit
that. Mhm.
gotta hit free throws. It's it's
Exactly.
it's it's a little things, and we have to do the little things great. And
Yep.
we just gotta get back to that. We gotta get back to our identity. Like you train the NBA uh, at this team being a top two, top three defense in the NBA. So teams knew that playing against the Magic, two, top three defense, I'm gonna have to go to sleep early and be prepared because I need to bring my A game. Now, if we don't fix that, then maybe it works to our advantage. Maybe they go out to dinner a lot later. Maybe they go out clubbing. Maybe we can kind of use that to our advantage. But you don't want to lose the respect. And I think that if we don't turn around quick, you're going to end up losing that respect.
Yep. It's got to turn around quick, man. We have again this weekend should be fun. Hopefully we see some fun basketball at home, get that energy back because we need it, man. I think as a fan base, we need a solid weekend of basketball here.
Yep. Yep. So Al, final thoughts, predictions. Two Boston, one at Portland, one in New York, 4 games. How do you see the Magic end up faring?
I'm gonna go 3-1. I think we lose whether it's New York or one of the Boston games, but we should win the rest. I really want to win against the Knicks, so uh, tough. I don't want to lose at home against the Celtics, but I will take one if we can beat the Knicks at MSG. So I'm gonna go 3-1. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going 2-2. I'm hoping that you can steal one of the Bostons, and then Portland should be an easy one under the belt. So I'm gonna take the under until the Magic prove it otherwise.
I like it. Playing it safe.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see what ends up happening. NBA Cup game on a Friday night against Boston here at home. It's going to be exciting. On that note, as a wrap, appreciate everyone for listening. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.